Now on CoastTV News.
Two big names closing their doors this week. What local employees told us about the shocking shutdowns. And tragedy at a Michigan church, a morning of worship shattered by violence. What we know about the deadly attack and the investigation still unfolding.
And we are expecting Monday to still stay gray all day long. More on the thick cloud cover that I'm tracking coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Grace Eckerly. A gold alert has been issued for a missing teen from Lewis. State police searching for 16-year-old Kiera Henry. Last seen near the Walmart in Rehoboth Beach between 9 and 10 p.m. on September 27th. Authorities believing she may be headed to the Laurel area. Anyone with information urged to contact Delaware State Police. Salisbury Fire Department responding to the scene of a motorized bicycle crash today. And just check out the state of that bike here. The department says it happened at the intersection of South Salisbury Boulevard and Carroll Street. Delaware State Police have arrested 27-year-old Ivory Brown of Harrington for vehicular assault, DUI, and other related charges after a crash in Greenwood. Troopers say it happened just after 11 p.m. Friday on Hickman Road. Investigators saying Brown's SUV went off the road, flipped multiple times, and ejected two passengers. Those troopers say two adults from Milford were taken to the hospital. Those other passengers, two 19-year-old men and a 6-year-old child, also taken to the hospital with injuries. Delaware State Police say Brown showed signs of impairment and was taken into custody after he failed sobriety tests. If you like coffee, if you like beer, you lost a pair of places to grab a drink this week in Rehoboth Beach. Iron Hill Brewery in the city has abruptly shut its doors, and yesterday was the final day for Rehoboth Avenue Starbucks employees. CoastTV News spoke to employees from both shops, and the common word that they used to describe these closures was shocked.
It's communities who have a hub, a little third space to gather. So, it almost feels selfish to both workers and customers, which, this is like what they try to prioritize, customers.
It was really upsetting because I see these people like every week. I'm here every week. And it's upsetting that a lot of them also relied on this job.
A heads up for Maryland boaters this week, starting October 1st, title and registration fees going up for the first time in 42 years. That's according to the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. The standard boat registration fee will rise from $24 to $70 every 2 years. There's also a voluntary $12 registration for non-motorized vessels, think canoes, kayaks, allowing natural resource police to easily identify owners in case of emergencies. Those new fees address rising administrative costs and they say will help fund boating services and law enforcement. Dewey Beach held their monthly town council meeting, and on the docket, yet another look at those beach canopy rules, as well as funding for the new 3-story town hall. Dewey already posted signs and warning tags for canopies left unattended before 9 a.m. And commissioners say that things have improved because of that, but only slightly. They discussed more restrictions such as limiting canopy sizes, keeping them near a fence, and making sure that lifeguards have a clear path. And Dewey Beach officials saying that they're moving forward with 2 fundraisers for that new town hall. One of them including bricks for a walkway at $300 each, with a total grand goal for $1 million. The other is an interactive donor wall with giving levels starting at $2,500. The overall goal for that to raise $1 million. And they say they're starting off strong. Dewey's town council says a very generous donor made a $200,000 donation. A road closure to watch out for if you're in Ellendale. DelDOT says North Old State Road will shut down between Route 16 and Fleetown Road starting Monday. That closure expected to last through October 10th. Crews will be removing an old pipe crossroad and installing 2 new ones to help with stormwater drainage. Drivers in the area should plan ahead and they should follow the detours posted. Higher taxes could be coming to property owners in Del Mar, Delaware. The school district is planning a referendum for next year. District leaders tell us that they need more money to build a new intermediate school, and a referendum would allow them to do that and to raise money for other needs. But this will ultimately be up to Del Mar. Some voters and neighbors we spoke with say they would support the tax increase, and while one parent we talked to says he would be against it, he does have a few ideas of where any extra money could be spent.
Like to see more kids get a better education and worried about the sports and stuff like that. I just feel like that's where everything goes towards is that.
Del Mar school district leaders could not tell us yet just how much taxes would go up, but they say that they should have some answers soon. A new McDonald's is open on Delmarva Monday. The grand opening celebration in Ocean View. The new McDonald's located on Atlantic Ave has already created 60 jobs. The company says it plans on giving back with a donation to South Coastal Village volunteers. They say it's part of their ongoing commitment to growth and community in Sussex County. Police in Michigan now investigating a deadly shooting at a Grand Blanc Township church. It happened around 10:30 a.m. local time Sunday morning at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. At least 2 people now dead and 8 others hospitalized. Reporter Jen Sullivan has details on this developing story.
A Sunday morning service turning to horror when police say a man armed with an assault rifle opened fire inside a church in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan.
We have an active shooter at the church. I need manpower up here ASAP. I have people trapped in the building. Repeat, people trapped in the building. We got children inside too.
That frantic 911 call alerting police to an active shooter at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, about 55 miles northwest of Detroit.
He rammed the vehicle through the front door, exited, then started firing shots.
Police say multiple people were shot, and the gunman was killed by 2 law enforcement officers. Adding to the terror, police say the shooter then set fire to the church.
We believe that was deliberately set by the suspect.
The horrific act shocking this community of about 40,000 people.
This kind of violence doesn't happen in our community.
Neighbors watching in disbelief as thick smoke billows from the church.
I'm completely distraught. This was a quiet neighborhood. You know, we've never seen anything like this.
As this community grapples with grief, the church website now reads closed. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
A bomb squad was assessing a suspicious item that was found on the church property, says a source familiar with the incident. President Donald Trump now reacting to the shooting on Truth Social, saying, quote, "This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do." He continues by saying, "In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately." Coming up, boots in the mud and hands in the water this week on Delmarva. Students and scientists team up on Delaware's Indian River, the hands-on effort to clean up dangerous ghost pots from local waters.
And we're expecting 2 days of gray in your work week forecast. More on that coming up.
And the city of Milford is booming, and new numbers show just how quickly it's growing. From population jumps to new developments, is Milford bursting at the seams? What city leaders are saying about that surge, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just 60 seconds.
I believe the next couple of days is going to be a combination of 2 things, really very cloudy and gray, and then drizzly to light showers not heavy rain or thunderstorms or anything like that, but enough to annoy you and make you feel some kind of way, yeah, I'll give it that at the very least. So we're taking a look live. We're not seeing that manifest itself just yet, but the groundwork is being set right now for a very gray feeling and looking kind of Monday, the kind that will remind you, yeah, it's definitely Monday. So as we take a look at what's happening with our forecast, you'll see mainly cooperative skyline at this particular juncture. But as you take a look at what's happening with our temperatures right now, what you'll notice is that we have temperatures right now in the 60s, for example. We're looking at 74 in Rehoboth, Indian River Inlet, and Lewis, but we're in the 60s throughout all the inland areas. 66 degrees seems to be the going thing in places like Dagsboro, Gumboro, Laurel, as well as Delmar. Now, we had a high of 79 degrees for the high in Georgetown, 80 for the high in Salisbury. Now, how does that compare to our norm? About 3 degrees above the norm for this time of the year. So pretty close to the norm. 88, by the way, is the record that was set in the 50s. So we're looking clear from precipitation right now. Cloud cover starting to sneak in here a little bit. But for the rest of the night, we're going to see cloud cover. Now, by the time we get to 1 o'clock, we could see some scattered light sprinkles try to develop. Now, I'm calling for rain, but this model hasn't been all dependable as we're changing from summer to fall. So I'm still waiting for the models really work out that wonkiness that it typically happens for 2 weeks when you go from one season to the other. But right now, I'm definitely confident we're going to have at least light rain or drizzle at the very least throughout central and southern portions of the county. Then it's going to go from the south to the north when it hits for Monday night. So it's going to be a wet, damp kind of day in general. Say that one more time. Wet, damp kind of day in general, and we'll see wave upon wave. So the latest model run is making that a little bit heftier as far as the potential of rain. But mainly we're looking at cloud cover for just about all locations, winds out of the northeast. We go into Monday, lunchtime, thick cloud cover everywhere, hardly a spot of sunshine anywhere. And then as we go into, let's say, Tuesday, we start off that cloudy in the morning time, 6 o'clock, and we stay cloudy most of the day, even for Tuesday. So 2 days we're lacking something. It's going to look like England, okay? That's what we're going to experience. Now, as far as the chances of rain, it stays really depressed or down till we get to, let's say, Saturday. So it's not an impressive amount of rain that we're supposed to expect and anticipate. As we go into Wednesday, we'll start seeing this clear out for us a little bit more. Winds are going to be more than a nuisance, though, particularly on Wednesday. 31 mile per hour wind gusts and up to 37 to near 40. Don't be surprised if we have gale wind advisories, watches, and maybe even a warning for Wednesday as a result of that. Now, we're also keeping a close eye on Hurricane Humberto, but Imelda is one that's going to swing closer to us. And with Imelda over the islands right now, it's a tropical storm. It's going to graduate to a hurricane category 1, but it'll swing away from the U.S., and then it'll crisscross past with Humberto. This is Humberto. This is Imelda. And we're way up there, and this is going to crisscross way away from us. So these two storms are going to get a lot of headlines. They shouldn't bother us so much. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. A couple of days of really cloudy skies, and then we'll see a little bit of sunshine peek out by Wednesday.
Thanks, Paul. And speaking of hurricanes, it's been a year since Helene ripped through 6 states, including North Carolina. In addition to the destruction of homes, businesses, and infrastructure, the city of Asheville's tourism industry decimated. But determined business owners say they're back and they're rolling out the welcome mat. Isabel Rosales has more.
It's not often you get to see the remnants of a storm like this a year later.
Yeah, so this is one of the houses that you can still walk inside, and it's really frozen in time.
Among the damp wood and abandoned belongings, a visceral reminder of what Helene took in minutes. These walls mark the survival of a family, but the loss of a place they once called their little Eden.
The water was pouring in and going higher and higher, and so they feared for their lives that they might drown. And so he grabbed a flashlight and a putty knife, and he started hacking through the ceiling right here.
Recovery is far from over in hard-hit Swannanoa, just outside Asheville, with many families still struggling in mountain country. A year later, what is the need here in this community?
The need is vast. You know, we still have people that are in temporary shelter, and many people lost their jobs. Businesses were gone. They kind of went through.
Amy Cantrell and Pancho Bermejo tell me there's a full-blown housing crisis, with tens of thousands of people still displaced. Beloved Asheville is among the nonprofits racing to close that gap, building 120 homes and counting. Just a few feet from where the Mills family home drifted,
They said it felt like they were inside a boat.
off its foundation.
You know, they're just floating inside their house.
Rests their new Eden, built above the waterline of Helene.
And we are in a deep connection now in these Appalachian Mountains, and we are stronger than ever.
We got some pretty serious.
From the heart of Biltmore Village in Asheville,
How do we fix this?
Joe Scully
Was the wall
has been documenting the tireless comeback story of Corner Kitchen. 10 months, more than 300 days through the seasons. Until this moment.
Open after 10 months closed.
The hometown restaurant, now a welcome home back.
And then when we actually started to get like people in, it was actually a little scary.
Yeah, you got the jitters?
A little.
This fall, the stakes are higher than ever as visitors pour into high country to take in the changing foliage. In western North Carolina, the next few months could make or break a small business.
It's a possible reality that people will not be able to make it if they don't have the guests and the tourists to come for this next 3-month period.
A Chamber of Commerce survey of mostly small businesses found 90% of respondents project a revenue loss, and nearly 45% report a moderate to significant risk of closure.
This could be 2 chicken salads all day.
The Corner Kitchen, back from the brink and buzzing with sound. And this stark reminder of just how high the floodwaters climbed.
Why rebuild in a place that's flooded before?
It's too precious not to try.
Back here on our waters, crews working to retrieve and clean crab pots in Millsboro. It's part of a hands-on removal and training event, one that makes crabbing easier and helps marine life. Finding these crab pots is a little more complicated than you might expect. Crews use side-scan sonar to find abandoned crab pots, fish them out of the water, and haul them in for cleaning. CoastTV spoke with some UD grad students who are volunteering their time.
I think that's the nice part, is also seeing the actual work that you're doing, because a lot of times we're either mapping on software on our computers all day, and now we actually get to see the result of our hard work.
Crews told us that they try and do an event like this once a year, and just in the last month, they surveyed the Indian River area and found over 450 pots just in that one area. In the Delaware Inland Bays in total, that number may be closer to 30,000 lost crab pots. Still to come on CoastTV News, more Americans are putting their money in this place than ever before. Where it is, after the break. When it comes to money, many Americans are choosing to invest in the stock market. New information from the Federal Reserve shows 45% of households' financial assets in the second quarter this year were invested in stocks. Some of those investments are part of mutual funds or retirement plans that Americans own. The Fed's data shows that this is the highest investment in stocks than ever. Economists say while many Americans might be happy about their holdings, they see potential problems. They say a market downturn could hit Americans' finances pretty hard. The city of Millsboro is growing, and leaders just put out some new data to prove it. City leaders saying on average, 200 new housing units are built in the city per year. And at that pace, they say all current and proposed projects would take 20 years to complete. All those numbers are part of Milford's plan to grow responsibly, and one neighbor says he hopes that city leaders can keep that promise.
Development's a good thing when it's done with good taste. You know, when it's done out of financial intuitions and intentions alone, then it tends to spoil real quick, and I think that's kind of what we're starting to see around here a little bit.
Milford city leaders say they're planning a workshop to go over all of these growing trends. They say they do not have a date for that workshop though yet. A Attention BMW drivers, you're going to want to hear this. The recall alert involves nearly 200,000 BMW cars, and that automaker now telling owners to avoid parking their vehicles in the garage because of a fire risk. According to the notice, this is related to a problem with the engine starter. The National Safety Highway Traffic Administration says that owners should park outside and away from structures until those repairs are made. The affected cars also including 1,500 Toyota Supra vehicles. Americans ramped up their spending in August. However, their costs of living were on the rise as food and other goods become even more expensive. While Americans continue to spend, they're also souring on the economy to levels seen rarely in the post-World War II era. All this as President Trump announces new tariffs on certain items. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the latest numbers.
Many Americans are feeling down on the economy.
We have about 44% of consumers who are spontaneously telling us that high prices are weighing down their personal finances. And that's been something that has not really eased up.
Fears of higher inflation and risk of a weaker labor market are making many anxious, according to a new University of Michigan consumer sentiment survey. Despite the negative outlook, people are still spending. New data from the Commerce Department shows consumer spending rose 0.6% in August and 0.4% when adjusting for inflation.
The big reason for that is that the vast majority of aggregate consumer spending is being generated by high income and high wealth consumers.
But the survey's director, Joanne Shu, says lower income consumers are beginning to pull back, and the impact of President Trump's aggressive trade policies is a wide concern.
Tariffs are very, very high on people's minds, specifically because of the believed impact of those tariffs on the prices that consumers will eventually pay.
And it's likely prices could continue to climb. Trump announcing new tariffs Thursday on certain kinds of furniture, a 25% tariff on trucks, and a 100% tariff on some imported brand name or patented pharmaceutical drugs. American University's Kara Reynolds says these new tariffs could continue to drag consumer sentiment and impact the economy long term.
The inflation, fairly weak job numbers, and lower consumer sentiment, I think that has to hit consumer spending soon. If consumers are pulling back, you're going to see that in economic growth.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
After the break here on Coast TV News, flu season is just around the corner. What you need to know to keep yourself and your family safe. Fall is when flu viruses tend to start spreading, and health officials say now is the perfect time to start protecting yourself and your loved ones. In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on what you can expect for the upcoming flu season.
It's almost that time of year again. Fall signals the start of flu season, which typically starts in October with peaks between December and February.
We're expecting this year to be moderate, but last year was severe. We had more illnesses, more hospitalizations, and more preventable deaths of children.
Dr. Sarah Nozel with the American Academy of Family Physicians says the best protection is to get the flu shot as soon as it's available to you before the season gets into full swing. The CDC recommends everyone 6 months and older, with rare exception, to receive the vaccine, which is trivalent this season, meaning it protects against 3 strains of the influenza virus. Nozel says vaccination can help protect against severe disease.
Your body's ready to take on that fight. So instead of ending up in the hospital with pneumonia, you might have a runny nose for a few days, and you will be much less contagious.
For the first time this flu season, there's also an at-home flu vaccine available in 34 states. Flu Mist is a nasal spray approved for non-pregnant people between the ages of 2 and 49. Nozel says to talk to a doctor to make sure you're eligible to receive it.
You really need to check in if you have any of the medical conditions that would make it not safe to be given. It's for healthy young people.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
After the break here on Coast TV News, taking a live look into Rehoboth Beach. Will it be a gray day for Monday? Our chief meteorologist, Paul Williams, has the final say. Coast TV News continues in just a few moments.
You know, throughout this week, you're going to hear a lot of things about the storms that are going to be brewing out in the Atlantic. I just don't see either one of those storms, Roberto or Imelda, causing us great concern. But we'll keep a close eye on that anyway. Some folks were kind of contacting me via our website and stuff like that, asking questions. Dover right now, we're staying with the cloudy side of things. Now, we're going to see drizzle and light rain at the very least throughout most of Monday and Tuesday. So that's the pattern that we are, quote, looking forward to. Here's where we stand right now. We're staying very dry at this point as far as precipitation is concerned. Now, if you need to keep up with your forecast, we keep you updated not only with our website or our social media pages, but we also have our weather line to call. The number to call is 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, and we rotate and we continue to keep that updated 24 hours a day so you can keep up what's going on. That, by the way, is sponsored by our friends at Brockstead, Mendalis, and Federico. Now, we take a look at the beach forecast. And so first and foremost, Chincoteague, we're looking at cloudy skies Monday and Tuesday. Then it becomes very breezy on Wednesday. We're expecting the opportunity for wind advisories, possibly a gale wind watch or possible warning for us down in Chincoteague. Assateague, the same situation. Temperatures will go from 75 to 72 to 69. Very breezy on Wednesday. We're looking at about 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts there. Ocean City and Fenwick Island looking at the same basic scenario, 72 to 71. Then very breezy conditions that we drop to the upper 60s. Now we'll see more in the way of sunshine in Fenwick Island, but I believe that Ocean City is going to be the cutoff point where we're going to have the most vibrant winds that'll kick in, with it being in excess of 30 to 40 miles per hour. And we're expecting breezy conditions in Lewis as well as Rehoboth Beach on Wednesday, just not quite as robust as the winds that we anticipate down towards Ocean City and down towards Chincoteague. Finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Cloudy skies both Monday and Tuesday. Look, it's going to be rainy, drizzly, cloudy, and all of that. And we may see a steady light shower or two. But I'm not necessarily calling for thunderstorms, but I am calling for ugly, mucky weather 2 days in a row. Grace.
Thanks, Paul, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News after Sunday Night Football. For more local news and weather, you can download our Coast TV News app, and we'll see you in just a few hours for Coast TV News starting at 5 a.m. Have a great night.